Greg, first off, I know you're a Texas Tech guy. Your reaction about Mike Leach?
Well, I'm disappointed. It's a tough situation, and obviously, my condolences go out to Coach Leach and obviously the James family. It's a tough situation for them as well, and it's as a player and having known Coach Leach, he's just he's a really nice person. He always is looking out for for the best interest of his players, and obviously Texas Tech did their homework and they made the decision that needed to be made. But I'm disappointed as a fan of Texas Tech football and also as a player that has been recruited and spent a lot of time with Coach Leach. It's upsetting to me.
Worked so hard all season long, and you guys are going to the national championship, and I know it's about obviously the process, but has it really sunk in for you yet? Have you had to pinch yourself? I mean,
I think it's something that you have to understand as a player, that this is what you play for, and I think that when you sign up at Alabama, these are the games that you look forward to, and these are the games that you want to play in as as a starting quarterback. So I don't know if it's hit me yet. I don't know if it's just my understanding of not making the game bigger than it needs to be. But I've just gone about it with the same approach and just studied the same way I do for every other game. I texted Peyton Manning a couple weeks ago and asked him just if he had any advice going into the game, and he said, just don't make it bigger than it has to be, and that's the approach I've really taken and something I've tried to really instill in my preparation.
How hard is it not to hype it in your own mind?
Oh, well, it's really not that difficult because you do go about and do the same things. I think if you don't pay attention to outside influences and you don't, watch TV and you don't read the internet and things like that, then those are, that's something that can get built up pretty quick if you do partake in those activities. But I think as a player, when you just go through the motions and you go through the practices and you can work against the scout team just like you always do, you go against the defense like you always do, the practice schedule's the exact same. Meetings are talking about the same things. What are they doing on third down, 7 to 10? What are they doing on goal line? It really kind of takes the shape of a regular game, and I think it's up to the people outside to really make the game bigger than it is.
This team has progressed. I mean, the progress you guys have made for the Virginia Tech game on. How would you describe the progress? What have you seen this team, how this team has grown?
Well, I think it's grown in unity. I think the fact that starting out, we were challenged early, which helped. Anytime you're challenged at the beginning of the season, you really kind of, really understand the character of the team and the time it takes, and everything that goes in. I think just the progressions that we've made, though, is the fact that, when one part of the game isn't going as well, maybe the defense isn't playing as well, the offense has been able to pick them up, and maybe the offense is struggling passing the ball, so the running game's picked it up. So I think that's one thing that we've learned and we've really progressed, is because we've just found a way to win. I think that's just obviously a great character trait, and it's something that's important to us as players, and it's something that we've learned a lot about and we've been able to do each and every time that we stepped out on the football field.
How about you for your personal growth? You just start off like gangbusters, things kind of, and then boom, the last couple of games really
right
back on again.
Well, I think I understood coming into the season that not everything would be perfect, but you also can't really prepare yourself for that moment when things are not going as well as you'd please. But I think that the way that you really define yourself, it's not the guys that always do well. It's not the guys that have had a rosy path the whole way. It's the guys that have really kind of felt that slump and gotten themselves out of it. Those are the guys that I think really excel. And if you don't understand and you've never faced adversity, then how can you really appreciate something? And I think that slump has really made me so much better as a player. It's made me understand and appreciate things much more. And obviously we came out the other end and have played extremely well the last few games. So I'm really confident in where we stand right now, and I think having the success that we've had over the last few games give us a real good edge going into a real sharp edge going into Texas.
Will this be your first trip to the Rose Bowl? I know you spent a lot of time out there. You guys grew up there a little bit.
Right.
Is this your first trip, though?
This is my first trip to the Rose Bowl. I've been to the Coliseum where USC plays many times, but I never really followed UCLA football. I never really liked them all that much. I was kind of a Stanford fan when I was younger, and a Florida State fan because that's where my mom went to school. So this is my first trip to the Rose Bowl. I hear it's a fantastic venue, and obviously Pasadena's beautiful, so I'm looking forward to getting out there.
How about the way this thing has all fallen out? Went to high school in Texas, grew up a little bit in California. There you are going to be in California playing Texas for the national
I know
championship.
it's really a storybook. It's really a storybook experience, and the fact that I've been able to go through and progress. I remember I started playing football in California, and just the little league days, just not knowing the difference between a pass and a toss sweep. It's just it's kind of neat the way that things have kind of gone around, and having lived 45 minutes from the Rose Bowl and moving to Texas and kind of growing up and following Texas football and understanding what the Longhorns mean to the state of Texas, and then obviously coming to Alabama and understanding what football means here. It's obviously pretty neat, and the fact that I'm able to finish this year of my college career in the place where I grew up and the place where I really learned the game is really a pretty neat experience for me.
One more for Greg. You guys have obviously had a lot of time to look at Texas on film. What stands out about their defense?
Well, I think it's just their overall team speed. From defensive tackle to the safety, I think that's probably the fastest team we will play. It's kind of tough to say, and obviously they're playing against different opponents, so we don't have any common opponents, so it's kind of tough to really be able to get a good feel for what they do. But, we really understand their tendencies. We spend a lot of time watching them, and just from top to bottom, their team speed is phenomenal, and it's real similar to Florida. In a sense that they run real well, they really gang tackle, and they all fly around to the ball, and they're very opportunistic at forcing turnovers. So it'll be a tough challenge. We'll have our hands full, but I feel confident in our preparation, our ability to get the job done.